Thank you for joining us. Welcome to LumioseStation.
Hello LumioseStation, welcome back to Pokémon DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. Before I start today's episode, I'd like to remind you all to please put your suggestions on what Pokémon I can focus on in future episodes in the comments below. That would help me out quite a lot. Anyway, today we're looking at Klefki, the Keyring Pokémon, which is a Steel Fairy type, and is number 707 in the National Pokédex. It also appears in the Mountain Kalos Pokédex as number 50, because obviously it was introduced in Generation 6. Klefki is only 8 inches tall, or 0.2 meters tall, and weighs only 6.6 pounds or 3 kilograms, so it's a very small and light Pokemon. Egg-wise and breeding-wise, it's in the mineral group, and its gender ratio is sort of an equal split, 50-50. I thought personally that Klefki would be a genderless Pokemon, but no, apparently it's male-female split. Anyway, it doesn't evolve at all, so you don't have to worry about catching a pre-evolution and evolving that, so it's just a simple one-stage Pokemon. Taking a quick look at its base stats, we can see here its highest base stat is defense at 91, then going down to special defense at 87, and then down to its attack and special attack, with its lowest being health points and then just above it speed. So we can see it's not a overly powerful Pokemon, it doesn't have a huge base stat, but we're not looking here really at a huge offense or a huge defense, we're looking at more a utility usage, as you'll find out later on in the Wi-Fi setups. So first, analysing its typing, which is Steel Fairy, we can see it resists quite a handful of types, being Normal, Fly, Rock, Bug, Grass, Psychic, Ice, Dark, and Fairy typing. It's only weak to 2 types, which are Ground and Fire type, and it's immune to both Poison type and Dragon type, which is actually quite helpful. Then it takes neutral damage from Fighting types, Ghost types, Steel types, Water types, and Electric types. So it's a spread typing, really. It has quite a lot of resistances really, not a huge amount of weaknesses, so really even though it's not a huge defensive Pokemon, you could look at surviving at least 2 or 3 hits with this Pokemon. Then if we move on to looking at its only ability is Prankster, which gives priority to a status move, and that's what we're going to be very much focusing on in the Wi-Fi battling setups in a minute. And its hidden ability, which can only be obtained sort of through other means, is Magician, and that means it steals the held item of the Pokemon it hits with a move, which can be helpful, but bear in mind it doesn't work on Mega Stones, so you can't exactly sort of be sneaky like that. Then if we look at the move I recommend you teach to Klefki, at level 50 it actually learns Spikes, which is going to be a very helpful move in the first Wi-Fi setup. And then level 18 it learns Draining Kiss, which is a Fairy type move, which is going to be sort of our main attacking move, as it's, a stab move it gets. Then level 27 it learns Foul Play, which is Dark type. Again, this is going to be one of the main attacking moves we're going to use, and as if you remember, obviously you can see on screen now, both its attack and special attack base stats are the same, so it can use either special or physical moves, so it doesn't really matter which one you use. Then level 36 it learns Imprison, which stops the opponent from sort of using moves that are the same as your own. And then really we move on to the TMs here, being TM06 Toxic, another status move, TM11 Sunny Day, which of course makes it a sunny day, or brings the sunshine out, etc., whatever you want to call it. Then TM16 is Light Screen, TM18 is Rain Dance, which obviously causes it to rain, TM33 is Reflect, which is the counterpart to Light Screen, and then last of all we have TM73, which is Thunder Wave, which is obviously going to paralyze the opponent. Now you'll see why we have so many status moves in a second, or you might have guessed already, due to Klefki's ability, Prankster. Right, so here we go with the first Wi-Fi battling setup. This is going to be very much focusing on sort of spiking setup, so putting spikes up. Moveset being obviously Spikes, and then Draining Kiss or Toxic, Imprison and Foul Play. Ability here you want to use Prankster, Nature is a Bold Nature, Held Item Focus Sash, EVs being max health points, max defense, and then putting the rest in special defense. Now this setup is very much a suicidal setup actually, as you'll see in a second, because really with this setup you can get at least 2 layers of spikes up, because the Prankster ability allows all status moves to go first regardless, so even though Klefki has a fairly slow speed stat, it can actually go first all the time with, any status move. So that means as soon as you send your Klefki in at the start of the battle, for example, you can set 1 layer of spikes up immediately, they can't even counter it. Then with the Focus Sash, if they take you out in 1 hit, that means you're going to be able to use another Spikes, because again you will go first. If they don't take you out, or just knock you down to half health points or whatever, obviously the Focus Sash is going to activate, but you'll still be able to get another layer of spikes up. So regardless of what happens, you can get 2 layers of spikes up. Then of course our other moves here are Draining Kiss, which can be helpful if, for example, you took a bit of damage, but obviously the Focus Sash is then not going to activate. so you can then use the Draining Kiss to steal some health points from the opponent and hopefully restore your health points to maximum, so then if they do send in the Pokemon that's got a super effective move against you, then you can easily take it out, or at least easily survive it, with the Focus Sash. You can, however, put this out of Toxic, just if you want to put a bit more pressure on the opponent. Then we have Imprison, which is always a good move to have, especially since we're possibly looking at going up against other Spikers at the start of the match. So if you use Imprison, which is obviously going to go first because of the Prankster ability, this is going to stop anyone else using Spikes, for example, because obviously we have Spikes in our moveset. If they have Spikes, they won't be able to use it. And then last of all we have Foul Play, which is just a very, good move, especially if you're going up against a high attacker, because that's going to use their attacks for that. We don't get stabbed from this move, however, because we're not a dark type, but we do sort of get the same amount of effect as the special physical move, split, etc. The Bold Nature here is going to increase your defense, which is just going to allow you to survive that extra hit, and it's going to decrease your attack. Now you might think, well, since you're a split attacker, both special and physical, why would you want to, reduce your attack? Well, since the only physically attacking move we have is Foul Play, that is going to use the opponent's attack stat, not our own, so we don't even have to worry about it, so we're alright reducing the attack stat here. As I mentioned already, the Focus Sash is there just so we can get at least 2 layers of spikes up, and then the EVs there, we have maximum health points, maximum defense, just to allow you to get a bit more bulk, so you can sort of survive the more of those moves, and then the rest goes in special defense. The reason I've chosen defense over special defense is just because Earthquake is a big threat, so obviously being a physical move, Earthquake, you gotta put some more bulk in defense there. So really we're looking at sort of not a bulky Pokemon, but a Pokemon that's going to survive at least 2 hits, or at least 1 hit, generally because of the Focus Sash. But yeah, if you're lucky, you should be able to survive 2 or 3 hits, maybe get a Spikes up, or a couple layers of Spikes up, maybe hit a Draining Kiss off or whatever, maybe a Toxic if you're going for that, or maybe even a Foul Play, just depends on what you really want to do here. Next up for our second set, we've moved off the Spikes now, we're not looking at a spiking setup anymore, instead we're looking at a dual sort of wall setup, dual screen setup. So the moves are going to be Reflect, Light Screen, Imprison and Foul Play. The ability again is Prankster, the nature again is Bold, but this time the held item is Light Clay. Now the EVs here are maximum health points, maximum defense, and the rest in special defense again. So looking at the moves first, obviously we have Reflect and Light Screen here, and that's your dual sort of wall setup. Now again with Prankster, as soon as you get in the battle, you can put one of these screens up. Obviously depending on your opponent, you can put Reflect or Light Screen up. If you're against a physical attacker, you can put Reflect up, because then you've got the more chance to survive a move, I guess. If it's a special attacker, you can go for the Light Screen. We have no sort of Focus Sash this time, so you're really just depending on surviving the first attack. So obviously if you put the right screen up, that shouldn't be too much of a worry. And of course with your Bold Nature and your maximum health points and defense EVs, you should be able to survive attack if you're lucky, hopefully. Obviously again with the Prankster ability you can go first. Imprison again, if you are faced up against another screener or a Reflect or Light Screen, something you anticipate might have Reflect or Light Screen, you can of course use Imprison if you want to. Foul Play then is obviously your only attacking move in this set, and obviously as I mentioned, it's going to be using the opponent's attack stat, so that means we can have the Bold Nature. Held item here is Light Clay this time rather than the Focus Sash, because of course we're looking to sort of increase, we're not looking to survive and put as many layers of spikes up as possible, we're looking to really get those 2 screens up and make them as effective as possible and last as long as possible, so you can switch into another Pokemon and they can sort of make use of the extra time, because obviously Light Clay extends the duration of barrier moves like Light Screen and Reflect, so that's always helpful. I don't know how long extends them for, but any extension is a good one. So yeah, obviously EVs are the same as last time, just so you have that bit of bulk, so you can hopefully survive 2 or 3 attacks, get Reflect and Light Screen up, and then maybe go for the Imprison or the Foul Play, depending on what you really want to go for. So then, for the final setup for Klefki here, we have, it's a weather setup pretty much. Moves want to be Rain Dance or Sunny Day, Toxic or Thunder Wave, Spikes, and then Foul Play or Draining Kiss. Ability again, Prankster, Nature again, Bold, held item this time is a Damp Rock or Heat Rock, and the EVs are again maximum health points, maximum defense, and the rest in special defense. So, this setup is really looking at setting up weather, and then allow you to switch into a Pokemon that's going to take advantage of that weather. So if you don't have anyone with, Drought or Drizzle on your team, you can always use a Klefki at the start of your game to sort of allow you to set that weather up, because obviously Prankster again will allow Rain Dance or Sunny Day to definitely go first. And with your held item being a Damp Rock or a Heat Rock, you can then extend that effect a bit longer, so of course you can then, actually, make more use of it. Then we have Toxic or Thunderwave. So of course, if you get your weather up and you've not died, you can of course go for the Toxic or the Thunderwave if you want to paralyze the opponent or poison the opponent, depending on what opponent it is. You might want to restrict their speed or similar. Spikes there of course is if you then want to go for spikes and just think, I'll set up the spikes just to have an extra edge against the opponent. And then last of all we have Foul Play or Draining Kiss. Again, Foul Play uses the opponent's attack stat, and the Draining Kiss is always there if you want to restore a bit of health points to yourself. It just really depends on what you want to do. Nature again is bold, and we've all spoken about that really already. Held item again, obviously I've said about Damp Rock, Heat Rock extending the duration of Rain Dance or Sunny Day, so that's always a good thing since you're actually trying to get the weather up here. And then EVs are the same as the previous two setups, so that's really what you want to go for in Klefki, because it's not an offensive Pokemon, so you may as well put some EVs in its sort of bulk just to make it last that bit longer in battle. So guys, I think that's pretty much it for Klefki today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If this video was helpful to you, please let me know down in the comments below, and again, remember to obviously suggest some more Pokemon for me to look at in the future, and who knows, maybe one of your Pokemon will come up in the video soon. So guys, thanks for watching the video, we'll see you next time. Make sure to check out the rest of the content on LumioseStation. You can also check out my channel, link will be in the description below. And yeah, that's pretty much it guys, thanks for watching, I'll see you next time, goodbye!